Donc, merci à toutes et à tous pour nous avoir rejoints aujourd'hui. Donc, nous allons cet après-midi regarder ensemble les appels à projets 2022 qui sont donc sur l'espace et les projets en particulier sur les applications. Donc, Horizon Europe EUSPA. Nous aurons la présentation directement de Monsieur Wojtek Fort de l'agence. Et ensuite, nous allons pouvoir échanger avec des questions, vos questions, répondre à vos questions si vous en avez. Donc, merci à tous. On espère que vous avez passé une belle rentrée et que aujourd'hui, toutes ces informations vont pouvoir être très utiles dans vos préparations de propositions. Donc, petit rappel sur la logistique. Merci de fermer vos caméras, vos micros. Donc, vous pourrez poser vos questions dans l'espace conversation, de préférence en anglais. Et donc, on va essayer de modérer ces questions. Et vous aurez aussi une séance de questions-réponses particulièrement dédiée aux appels à projets et qui seront donc prises en compte par Monsieur Fort. Et bien sûr, cet enregistrement, il y a un enregistrement de ce webinaire qui sera disponible après la session. Donc voilà, pour ce qui est de l'agenda, donc une présentation et un petit peu les rappels des services que vous propose le PCN Espace du ministère de l'enseignement supérieur et de la recherche, la présentation des appels dont on vient d'échanger, donc les appels 2022 au Horizon Europe EUSPA, avec les questions, et puis vous donner une vision sur les événements qui vont suivre jusqu'à la fin d'année. Voilà, et nous conclurons ensuite. Donc, pour ce qui est de l'équipe PCN, donc il y a 3 personnes qui font partie de cette équipe Point de contact national espace. Donc, je vais présenter Fabienne Davran, qui est PCN depuis maintenant Horizon 2020, donc qui a une expertise non négligeable. Elle est également intégrée pour une autre partie de son temps dans un pôle de compétitivité qui donc, est le pôle Aerospace Valley. Vous avez Hélène Bonfils qui est également donc à la fois PCN et était coordinatrice avec sous Horizon 2020. Elle est rattachée et aujourd'hui experte à la fois PCN et experte pour le programme Horizon Europe Espace. Et elle est issue du CNES. Et moi-même, Isabelle de Sutter, qui donc est coordinatrice de ce PCN Espace, mais également coordinatrice du PCN numérique pour Horizon Europe. Et donc, je suis rattachée au ministère de l'Enseignement supérieur et de la Recherche. Voilà pour l'équipe PCN. Donc, nous avons une mission, des objectifs. Et ces objectifs, bien sûr, ce sont particulièrement la promotion du programme de travail Horizon Europe auprès de la communauté française de la recherche, du développement et de l'innovation. Donc, il faut bien sûr avoir quelques axes. Et donc, ces axes sont évidemment l'information, la sensibilisation, mais également cibler quelles sont les parties prenantes, avoir aussi, lorsque ce n'est pas l'unique intérêt pour vous, Horizon Europe n'est pas l'unique intérêt pour vous, on va vous orienter sur des sources de financement qui soient nationaux ou européens autres. Et puis également, on va travailler à avoir une force je dirais, adéquate et surtout facilitante de réseau. Et on a bien sûr cette échelle de réseaux locaux, régionaux, thématiques, et voir sur des réseaux plus larges. Voilà. Ensuite, le travail du PCN n'est pas unique, et on n'est pas unique. On a un travail en fait qui s'articule en binôme. Et ce binôme, c'est un engrenage avec une phase amont. Et cette phase amont, en fait, c'est une représentation avec la personne de Sylviane Pascal, qui est notre représentante au comité de programme. Donc, on appelle ça RCP, en petit acronyme et jargon du métier, sur la thématique espace Horizon Europe. Donc, cette articulation, clairement, d'un travail profond en amont et également d'une complicité pour faire la suite en aval, eh bien, c'est vraiment un acte de soutien pour tous les acteurs participants et les acteurs nationaux participants et voulant participer sur les programmes Horizon Europe. Donc, on appellera ça peut-être la formule gagnant-gagnant. Et tout ça pour dire que dans cette incitation, il y a également trois grands volets, l'incitation, l'accompagnement et l'influence. Et donc, on essaye par les meilleurs moyens de vous apporter tout soutien depuis le départ jusqu'à, je dirais, un effet de levier supplémentaire qui sera l'influence à Bruxelles. Et ça, vous l'avez un petit peu décrit dans ce schéma. Donc, on a vraiment de la communication au départ. Et puis ensuite, on a aussi, pour bien préparer son futur et bien préparer les feuilles de route nationales, et bien une identification de sujets d'intérêt nationaux qu'on va essayer de faire passer le mieux possible dans les programmes de travail. Donc, il y a vraiment un cycle et c'est vraiment cette formule qu'on espère apporter gagnante pour tous les personnes, pour toutes les organisations qui souhaitent participer dans le programme Espace pour ce qui nous concerne, mais en général, la participation française dans Horizon Europe. Et bien sûr, pour ne pas laisser un doute, eh bien, on a capitalisé dans un site national, donc le site horizoneurope.gouv.fr, toutes les informations, qu'elles soient administratives, qu'elles soient chiffrées sur les résultats, qu'elles soient évidemment sur l'annonce des appels à propositions qui sont disponibles, les événements, voire d'autres types de sources comme des témoignages ou des statistiques. Voilà. Donc, maintenant, j'en ai fini avec ma présentation et je dirais que je vais donner le floor à monsieur Forte qui va vous de l'agence excusez-moi, de l'agence européenne de l'European Union Agency for the Space Programme, EUSPA. Wojtek, the floor is yours. Sorry for the mistake I made. And
No problem. Hello. Thank you very much for the introduction. So let me share my slides that I have prepared. I hope you can see them. And I would like to welcome you also. I'm connecting from Prague. In Prague, it's raining at the moment, in case you hear it in the background. And today I prepared for you a few slides, mainly about the upcoming call of Horizon Europe. But I will also mention the other opportunities. So to start with, in EUSPA, specifically in the Market Downstream Innovation Department, which I'm from, we have more funding to stimulating the innovation and research in Europe. And one of them is Cassini and entrepreneurship programs that we have. Under that, there are many tools, competitions, prizes, and matchmaking in order to stimulate the innovation and entrepreneurship in the aerospace ecosystem. So this is not the main point of today's presentation. I will speak maybe about the prize later on, but I would like you to be aware of it. And more information is on our website. In addition to that, we have also some adoption grants. For example, grants for aviation to maximize the EGNOS adoption in that market segment. And then we have our program, which is called Fundamental Elements. And this program is focusing on research in Galileo and EGNOS only. So it's focusing on satellite navigation. And in the value chain, it's more focusing on the development of receivers, antennas, or chipsets. So more in the hardware part. And then, of course, we have Horizon Europe calls, which are usually focusing more on application development. And this is the main topic of today. So as you probably know, Horizon Europe is not something that is only managed by EUSPA. It's a very big research program of European Commission, following up on the Horizon 2020, divided into pillars and clusters. And as you can see in one of the clusters, it has space in its name, and space is part of this cluster called Digital Industry and Space. And inside it, there are some space calls, and some of them are managed and implemented by EUSPA. There was already first Horizon Europe call of EUSPA, which I presented, I think, on a very similar webinar a year ago. And now the deadline passed, the evaluations were done. And at this moment, the grant agreement preparation is ongoing with those consortia who were successful in the evaluations. And I think the French organizations were quite successful in that call. And also, what is quite interesting, that around 40% of the participants are SMEs, which is quite a high number. And of course, now we are interested and excited about what's coming next. And what is coming next is the Horizon Europe EUSPA call of 2022. So the full name is Horizon EUSPA 2022 Space. For us, we call it second call of EUSPA because it's second call for us. And you can see that there are 6 topics in this call, so quite a lot in comparison to the previous 3. The full description of this call and the 6 topics are in the work program. So here I'm offering you, let's say, the brief summary and the titles. However, please refer to the work program for the full text. The call will be available in the Funding and Tenders portal. It's not there yet. I hope that it will be published in the coming weeks. However, for sure, we're planning to open it in 27 October this year, and the deadline is 16 February 2023. So the timeline is exactly the same as in the previous call. In this call, we have 3 types of action. So first is, I would say, the most typical one in the Horizon Europe similar calls, and that is the innovation action, where the projects normally should focus on design of new or improved products, processes or services. And the funding rate is 70% for profit organizations and 100% for non-profit organizations. Another type of action is research and innovation action. And there the goal is to establish new knowledge or do more research or explore the feasibility of some technology, for example. And the last one is pre-commercial procurement. And there the consortia acts as a buyers group, which is then launching internal tender for proposals where the private companies bid to solve some problem of private entities. So you can see here the overall budget and the funding rates. Different topics have different types of action and different budget. And now, if you allow me, we can go through each of them. The first one is the topic for smart mobility. This topic is focusing mainly on EGNSS, that means EGNOS and Galileo. So not so much on Copernicus, even though the synergies with Copernicus are welcome in the proposal. And here we focus on the transport, mainly in aviation, maritime, rail, and road. The technical readiness level at the end of the projects is expected from 7 to 9. So it should be very close to the market. It's an innovation action, and the overall indicative budget is 9.5 million euro. Then coming to second topic, this is the only one which is pre-commercial procurement. And we think that pre-commercial procurement could be help in the public sector, meaning that in the public sector, the adoption of Galileo, EGNOS, and Copernicus are still quite limited, and we see a lot of space for new products and services there. And we think that pre-commercial procurement could be actually one of the interesting tools for the public entities, but also for the private companies, how to address this market. Meaning that the public entity can get the product or service that is solving their problem. And at the same time, the private companies can do the research and innovation on this new technology and have new potential clients. Also, this is very attractive because the funding rate in this case is very high. This topic is not really focusing on some specific market segment, so this should be more demand driven, and is really focusing on the adoption of the systems. However, here on the slide you can see some suggestions where we see opportunities. So an example is monitoring of infrastructure, crisis emergency management, civil security applications, but even smart cities and so on. But it is an open call. So I think this could be interesting topic, and is of course requiring certain coordination of public authorities. It doesn't mean that the private company cannot be in the consortium. However, the public entities have to be there as the buyers. The third and fourth topic are focusing on Copernicus. One of them is Copernicus downstream applications and European data economy. And this specific one, it's an innovation action where the projects are expected to start at TRL 5 and achieve the technological readiness level 8 by the end of the project. So it's really closer to the market on the application level. And the overall goal is to increase the integration and uptake of Copernicus to make use of the modern IT technologies, and at the same time already use the existing European data infrastructures, and Copernicus DIAS platform. For this topic, there is a business plan required during the submission, and I will speak about that also later on in my presentation on another slide. The overall budget for this topic is 9.6 million euro. The other topic which is focusing on Copernicus is large-scale Copernicus data uptake with artificial intelligence and hyper-performance computing. This topic is research innovation action. So this is one of the differences to the previous ones. So it's more low level, if you like, and the TRL here is 5 expected by the end of the project. And here the projects are welcome to develop new scalable operational solutions and technologies to improve the performance of Copernicus value chain overall, and also the supporting infrastructures. And the budget is also 9.6 million euro. Next, quite interesting topic is cooperation with international partners. It's again a research innovation action, so there is higher funding rate here. And here the proposals should use the EGNOS, Galileo, and also Copernicus, and focus on the development of EU space-based applications. There can be included dissemination and awareness raising as a scope of the project, but it should achieve critical mass of space-based application success stories and demonstrating the advantages of the differentiators that the systems bring to us. And here, as I said, the focus is on international partners. So for this topic, the eligibility is going beyond the standard ones in Horizon Europe to the countries which signed the Copernicus agreement. And the last topic is the GovSatcom service developments and demonstrations. So here, as the name of course suggests, this is focusing on the future GovSatcom system, on the consolidation of various use cases and demonstrations of the GovSatcom service interoperability in real user environment. And this is research innovation action. So again, here the funding rate is higher, but the participation to this topic will be more limited to the member states of European Union. The overall budget here is 9.1 million euro, and the foreseen size of the project, I think, is from 1 to 1.5 million euro. This was the last topic of the call. So here you see the whole call again, the summary of that. I think to keep in mind is the deadline, which is 16 February. And I promise that I will speak more about the business plan, which is required in some of the topics. And it's there as a mandatory for those topics which we are required to be close to the market, because we would like the consortia to already think about the commercialization when drafting the proposal, because those topics that are not meant to do research, which is then ending up in a shelf, but we really want that the technology comes to the market and brings the benefit to public, which is at the end the main purpose of the EU space program, that the society benefits from it. So the template will be downloadable, and it will be one of the annexes of the application, and the page limit is 10 pages, and it's not included in the limitation of the technical proposal as such. So you can download the template, and there you have exactly the sections to fill in, like the descriptions of competition, risk to market entry, and so on. When it comes to eligibility, of course, I believe that you know well the overall eligibility in Horizon Europe. But I would like to highlight that one of the new things in the Horizon Europe is that those participants that are public bodies, research organizations, or higher education establishments from member states and associated countries must have a gender equality plan. And the level of proposal, what is sufficient is the self-declaration. So you just tick in the system that you have it or not. However, applicants often forget about this condition, but it is eligibility condition. So I just wanted to highlight this, that in case you will be applying, this will be, this is a small thing, but it can be important. Then when writing the proposal, I would invite you, one, to take a look on the market report that EUSPA issued. We have now together for the EGNSS and Copernicus together, but also to take a look on EUSPA website, where there is a list of all the projects which were funded in the past, for example, in Horizon 2020, in similar application calls. So this can, in case it's a first time for you, this can give you an idea what is usually the scope of the project, the size of consortia, and also what has been developed already. But as I said, Horizon Europe is not only about the call of EUSPA. There are another calls in different domains. Some of them are space, but then there are many which are not really, the space is not the main focus. However, thanks to the work of colleagues in the European Commission, DG DEFIS, and cooperation with other colleagues from other DGs, they managed to put in the topics and the calls which are relevant in another segments a sentence that if the projects use the satellite navigation or observation or the satellite data, they should use Copernicus and Galileo. And this might be as, let's say, innocent sentence, but I think at the same time, this could be an opportunity for you, for companies that know about space, are capable of developing new applications and solutions, and you can search partners also in those calls and those topics where this is relevant and offer your help. So you can go, for example, to information days, to matchmaking with topics focusing on another segment like agriculture, not focusing really on space, and offer your capabilities for those consortia. So we did the work that we downloaded all the work programs and made a list. And here you have the QR code, which where you should be able to download the list of topics where EGNOS, Galileo, and Copernicus are indicated this way, which I think could be another good opportunity for you. And I promise that I will speak also about Cassini Prize. Actually, this prize is also part of Horizon Europe. It's financed from Horizon Europe. It's a prize for the best data-driven marine digital applications. And it's focusing on detection and monitoring of plastics in rivers, shores, and coastal zones. Again, this is just a summary. The full description is available on the Funding and Tenders portal. You have here the link. There is a whole document which is called Rules of Contest, which is giving you the details of the evaluation criteria, what is expected, and so on. Here there will be 3 winners receiving 950,000 cash prize. And this is not a grant, meaning that the evaluation will take place for solutions which are already done, already developed. And then you apply and backwards you get the prize. So it's a different in regards to the traditional calls that I presented to you, where first you get the grant and then you develop a certain solution. So this is already on the portal, as said. It's published, and the deadline is May 2023, which might be far away. But as said, please take in mind that this is already for something you have done until the application date. So it's not about the future. But I think it's a very interesting opportunity, solving yet another social issue that we have in Europe. And if you allow me, I would like to mention last slide about the funding opportunities, even it's not Horizon Europe, but if you remember at the beginning, I told you that in EUSPA we have something like Fundamental Elements program. I believe that many of you already participated. So I'm putting here on this slide
Project, you are muted.
Yes, please, Uptake, you're mute.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I don't know how that happened, but okay. For how long I was muted?
I think we just missed your presentation of several topics in fundamental elements.
Okay, so I was saying that in fundamental elements, there are more calls for 2022 published. So there is a grant plan published on our website where 2 topics are at the moment open. So here you see the summary. This is managed by our colleagues. It's not really Horizon Europe, but I believe that this is also interesting.
Again, muted, Uptake. Sorry.
I think it has to be somebody else muting me because I'm not doing anything.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
Let's hope it will
if
be
you
okay.
can just restart the presentation of the topics. Sorry for that.
Okay, so I was just saying that this is a summary of the fundamental elements grant plan, which is now available on the website of EUSPA, where 2 topics are now open for submission. So I think this is yet another opportunity for the companies which are interested in development of receivers, antennas, and chipsets when it comes to Galileo and EGNOS differentiators. And this is it for the opportunities. Of course, here I just could describe very briefly some topics, but there will be much more time on an upcoming event. So I'm actually very glad to announce that there will be EU Space Week in Prague from 3rd to 6th October. So you're very much invited to come. Here I put a QR code which you can scan, and it should lead you to our website where you can register. And there, when it comes to Horizon, because I also don't know everything, but there we're trying to get you the specialist for each market segment. So each of the topics that will be that you saw in the call will be there discussed, and we'll have a dedicated presentation by persons which are specialists in that field. So I think that could be even more interesting for you. But of course, this is not the only focus of the Space Week. The event is organized with the European Commission and also Czech Republic and the city of Prague. There will be a lot of sessions on the future trends, market forecasts. There will be another business opportunities, such as the Cassini that I mentioned, will be presented. There will be matchmaking. Also, the Copernicus Network General Assembly, and so on. And maybe there will be also glimpse for another future calls from DG DEFIS. So I believe that this can be interesting even for you. And part of the EU Space Week will be also the user consultation platform, where the users and companies like you will have opportunity to present the needs and requirements that they can shape in the future the evolution of this EU space program component. So that is all from my side, and now I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Wojtek. Yes, we have some questions in the chat, so I try to take all the questions and to communicate to you. First question, I think, is dealing with the first topic on smart mobility, and the question is, does EUSPA want to help stimulate the adoption of an eGNSS-based low-orbit PNT constellation? Did you get the question?
That's a interesting one. I believe that in this topic, it's describing mainly the usage of differentiators of current systems, such as the Galileo and EGNOS. So it's only about usage of the signals from these two systems. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you. Second question is a more general one. It's about the budget. The budget you show on each topic. Is it allocated to each action, or is it a general one for more than one project? I guess it's a global one, right?
So I presented the budget per. I'm not sure if I understand the question, because I presented budget for each topic. So there are 6 topics with different budget from 5.1 million euro until 9.6.
Yeah.
And the overall total budget of this call is 48.1 million euro.
Yeah, but the question was, sorry, I would precise. The question was, is this budget, does it allow several proposals to be funded, or is it for one proposal?
No, sorry, now I understand better the question. Yes, so it is foreseen for more proposals to be funded. And some indication, if you want to have in this regard some indication in the work program, you can see, of course, this indicative budget, but at the same time, you can see the what is the expected size of one project.
Okay.
So, for example, in GovSatcom topic, the overall indicative budget is 9.1 euro, and the size of one project is expected between 1 and 1.5 million euro. So this can then give you, by dividing these two numbers, can give you roughly idea what could be the future number of projects.
Thank you very much. I have two questions dealing with the international topic. So one is for this research and innovation initiative with international partners, does it need to be a European partner or can it be outside the region?
It can be outside of region, and there are specific countries which are eligible on top of the countries which are member states and associated countries. And in the work program, it is mentioned that it's those countries that signed the Copernicus agreements. I don't see it now quickly in the work program, but if you open it, it says even which countries are those.
Yes, I think there is a link with this
yes,
Copernicus agreement.
I can even read it for you. So it's the countries that signed an administrative cooperation agreements on Copernicus data access and Earth observation data exchanges, and these are exceptionally eligible for union funding. Currently, these countries are United States, Australia, Ukraine, Chile, Colombia, Serbia, African Union, India, and Brazil.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Wojtek. Another question dealing with this topic. Which level of involvement is foreseen of the international partners if they are associated in the proposal? Is there a minimum level of investment required?
I don't think that there is a minimum level of investment required from the international partners. However, I think that when drafting the proposal and putting the consortia together, you should keep in mind that this is the main objective of this topic, the international cooperation. Okay. So probably the non-EU, how to say, the non-EU participants should play a significant role. This is my understanding.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, there are some innovations action producing Earth observation-based services and products reaching a TRL level of 8 to 9. How can EUSPA support the sustainability or the business development of the Earth observation-based services and products issued from other H2020 or Horizon Europe projects?
I apologize, I don't have a reply for this question because I'm not really Copernicus expert. But as Isabel has agreed before, for those questions which I'm not able to answer right away, I'm happy to still answer after checking with my colleagues. So if you can collect the question in writing, and we'll come back to you.
We will,
I think this one would be the first.
Transfer you the question. I take the note of the name of the person having asked the question. Okay, another question is, can applications from French private companies be organized with French public entities, for example, AFD, with non-European partners?
So if in the consortium there can be French private company, French public organization, and non-European one? Did I get the question correctly?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, this is possible. So there has to be, I mean, so the third countries are eligible, as you know, there has to be at least one entity established in member states and at least 2 other independent entities established in different member state or associated country. Now, when it comes to the non-EU country, first thing to check is if they're associated. If they're associated country, they can participate.
Okay, thank you. Another question about consortia. Are non-collaborative projects also eligible? So I guess the answer is no, not on these goals.
No, I don't
You have
think.
to be in consortium.
Yes.
Okay.
No, yes, since there has to be at least 3 entities from 3 member states. From this, I think it's evident that this is not possible in Horizon.
Okay. Okay, so another question is there limitation in terms of budget of a project? What range of budget is expected? But you already answered this question, but if you can just...
Yes, as said, so there is no hard limit in how the project should be big in terms of budget, but you should keep in mind, I would say, 2 numbers. One is the overall indicative budget for that topic. And the second one is, and what is written in the work program, is what is foreseen more or less as appropriate budget for which a project could address the described topic. So this number, as in the example of Satcom, was 1.5 million euro. You can take as an indication for the size of the project. However, it doesn't mean that you have to follow exactly the size of the project. Maybe your project is so good and is planning to do a lot and is very innovative with the double budget. So if the evaluators will agree that still the project is very good, then this project can get funded. This is not a problem. However, of course, the evaluators are also looking on the not only what you plan to do, but for how much.
Okay, thank you. And one question more about GovSatcom topic. How many demos are foreseen for this topic?
So I believe that the work program doesn't limit the or doesn't prescribe the number of demonstrations that should happen in the project. Yeah, I don't see it here, so it's not really prescriptive that there should be certain number of demonstrations. So, but of course, it will be evaluated, let's say, based on what the proposal is suggesting. It will be awarded against the criteria and also the proposals which will apply for the same topic. So at the end of the day, it's a competition of what you suggest. So if you suggest to do more for the same money, I suppose that those that are suggesting to do more will be more competitive at the end of the day.
Okay.
Even though it's a certification, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. One more question. I think it's not very clear on the question of associated countries. So the question is there a specific list of these associated countries, or does it mean specific agreement? So I'm not sure the question is about the international topic, maybe, which is maybe a bit different than the regular, let's say, regular topics. So Félicien, if you could just precise if your question is dealing with the international topic or is it general, please, through the chat. So maybe Félicien will answer rapidly so we get the question more precisely. In any case, if you can elaborate a little bit. Yes, it's for the international topic, Uptake. So
yes, so as I explained, I think I partially answered that question. So the list of the countries which are eligible in addition to normal Horizon Europe. The exceptionally eligible countries are described in the work program. So it's those that I read to you. It's the countries that signed the agreements, and there is even the list, which is the one applicable at the time of writing the work program.
Okay,
so this is the list. If the question was more related to associated countries as such, then there is of course a public document which is linked from the Horizon Europe guide, and this document is listing the countries which are associated to Horizon Europe.
Okay, thank you very much, Wolfstek. In any case, we can also give some precision to this question, so please do not hesitate to come back to us. So thank you very much. The question and answer session is now ended, so I will give the floor to Hélène to introduce the next events. Thank you very much, Wolfstek.
Thank you.
Oui, bonjour à tous. Donc, pour les prochains événements, est-ce que vous entendez? Aïe. Isabelle, est-ce qu'on m'entend bien?
Oui, on t'entend. Hélène, je précise, on t'entend et on voit ta planche.
D'accord. Très bien. Les prochains événements donc, seront donc les infodays. Donc,
alors, il y a quelques coupures, Hélène. Excuse-moi, Hélène. Il y a quelques coupures, je pense, de points de bande passante. Oui. Je te suggère de couper ta caméra pour avoir un meilleur flux.
D'accord, je coupe la caméra. OK. Donc, les infodays seront essentiellement consacrés à la présentation du programme de travail 2023-2024 qui est actuellement en cours de finalisation. Il devrait être publié par la commission début décembre donc 2022 de cette année et qui ouvrira, donc, comme c'est indiqué sur cette planche, normalement le 22 décembre 2022 et dont le call 2023 ou le 22 décembre 2022 fermera le 28 mars 2023. Donc, l'essentiel d'ailleurs des actions sur ce programme de travail 2023-2024, il y a beaucoup d'actions beaucoup d'actions seront sur le call 2023, qui va donc ouvrir donc en décembre. Donc, les infos seront évidemment focalisées sur ce call 2023. Donc, ils auront lieu donc à Toulouse le 18 octobre 2022 également. Et donc, notre national aura lieu à Paris le 9 novembre en formule hybride, donc présentielle et à distance. Et donc, nous avons ensuite partie call 2023 dédiée aux applications. Donc, sachant que le call donc, qui va ouvrir en décembre sera, lui, dédié aux technologies système orbite, accès à l'espace et services, donc Copernicus, essentiellement. Donc, pour le call 2023, lié aux applications GNSS et Copernicus, c'est-à-dire l'équivalent du call 2022. Donc, lui, il ouvrira donc en octobre 2023. Et ce qui est important de savoir, c'est que dans ce programme de travail 2023-2024, toutes les belles sur les applications GNSS et Copernicus ont été rassemblées dans ce call 2023. Il n'y aura pas de call 2024. Donc voilà, il y aura un gros call et dont les appels seront déjà connus puisqu'ils seront déjà indiqués dans le programme de travail qui va sortir donc dès décembre de cette année. Donc, il y aura des gens pour s'y préparer. Voilà, c'est tout ce que j'avais à vous dire sur ces prochains événements.
Merci, Hélène. On a eu pas mal de coupures. On a eu pas mal de coupures. Hein, je ne sais pas si c'est pareil pour les auditeurs. Voilà, ce que je voulais dire, c'est que n'hésitez pas à revenir vers nous, mais je laisse la parole à Isabelle pour la conclusion.
Merci beaucoup, Fabienne. Je vais revenir avec ma présentation. Parce qu'en fait, si je mets la présentation, je n'ai plus les manœuvres sur le micro. Voilà. Donc, pour ce qui est de la conclusion, alors merci beaucoup pour votre participation et merci également à Monsieur Forte pour cette présentation avec évidemment les réponses les plus précises par rapport aux points de questionnement des participants. J'espère que ça va être bénéfique pour chacun de vous. Sachez bien sûr que, encore une fois, hein, vous avez à l'échelle locale, donc nationale, le PCN aussi pour vous renseigner sur des points d'interrogation que vous pourriez avoir. Je sais aussi, et donc vous avez pour certains d'entre vous sollicité des rendez-vous individuels. Dans ces rendez-vous individuels, donc on va prendre contact. Comment ça va se passer? On va prendre contact via un email avec chacun des demandeurs pour vous solliciter sur des dates dans les prochaines semaines afin de convenir d'un rendez-vous où on pourra échanger par rapport, je dirais, au sujet que vous voulez voir en individuel avec nous. On prévoit à peu près une trentaine de minutes par rendez-vous. Donc, ça va se passer, je pense, après la session. Vous recevrez un email. Et donc, merci de nous répondre sur les dates qui vous conviennent pour qu'on fixe une fois encore un rendez-vous virtuel via cet outil Teams que nous avons eu aujourd'hui. Donc, ça, c'est un petit peu pour les conclusions. Et puis surtout, voilà, encore une fois, gardons le contact. Vous avez différentes voies d'information et donc d'échange avec l'équipe, soit par mail sur l'adresse, la première, qui est donc l'adresse du PCN Espace, via également éventuellement nos listes de contacts, si vous n'êtes pas déjà sur nos listes de diffusion d'informations, vous pouvez nous rejoindre par l'adresse qui est indiquée. Et pour finir, il y a également une page dédiée au PCN Espace sur notre site national, donc horizon-europe.gouv.fr. Et donc, cette page, je vous l'ai indiquée pour vraiment arriver en direct. Et là, nous mettons à jour régulièrement les informations, comme je l'avais précisé sur les différentes sources de sujets que nous traitons. Voilà, donc on est un petit peu en avance. On avait effectivement prévu ce temps possible hein, de couper cette session plus tôt. Mais vous avez aussi et surtout le calendrier des prochains rendez-vous. Donc on vous attend toujours aussi nombreux et surtout, je dirais, aussi successful, puisque en fait les résultats quand même, vos résultats ont été quand même brillants ces 2 années, puisqu'on a travaillé le programme de travail Horizon Europe 2021-2022 sur une même deadline, donc clôture. Et vraiment, bravo à tous les lauréats. Et on va travailler, si vous n'avez pas réussi, on va travailler avec vous pour vraiment ceux qui souhaitent voilà, retravailler sur les nouveaux programmes. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, au revoir.
Merci beaucoup, au revoir.
Et bon week-end à tous.
Merci pour la présentation, bon week-end.
Au revoir, merci beaucoup.